Whenever I start a project, I kind of question whether I know what I'm doing at all. And after 3 years of not making a film or working in the theater, I think I had this feeling of, do I know how to do this?
Richard Gere, at 75, finally breaks his silence on the rumors, and the truth is even more shocking than expected. From a health crisis during a family trip to Mexico to his stunning decision to leave Hollywood for Madrid, Gere's life has taken a dramatic turn. In early 2023, alarm bells rang throughout Hollywood when news broke that Gere had been hospitalized while vacationing in Mexico. What should have been a joyous celebration of his wife Alejandra Silva's 40th birthday transformed into a serious health crisis that had fans worldwide holding their breath. Breaking his silence on the incident, Gere has finally confirmed the severity of the situation. He was diagnosed with pneumonia, requiring immediate hospitalization. The situation was even more complex than initially reported. It wasn't just Gere who fell ill, but several family members as well. His youngest son also battled pneumonia along with sinus and ear infections, turning their family vacation into a challenging medical emergency. The worst is behind us now, Alejandra shared on social media, expressing heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Rios and the medical team at La Jolla Hospital. The family had been in Mexico working on a conservation project south of Puerto Vallarta when the health crisis struck.
You're moving to Spain. You're leaving.
My wife is Spanish, and is this a problem for anybody out there?
We were going to miss you.
The most stunning confirmation from Gere concerns his decision to relocate to Madrid, Spain. This wasn't a temporary move or an extended vacation. It was a deliberate choice to completely reshape his life priorities. For an actor who spent decades in the glittering spotlight of Hollywood, this transition represents a profound shift in values and lifestyle choices.
How great is this chapter in your life?
The top of the top.
It is?
Yeah. Well, I love my wife. She's incredible.
Yeah.
A great mother.
Yeah.
The kids are healthy and happy, and of course, there's nothing more than that.
Gere's wife, Alejandra Silva, is Spanish, and their connection to her homeland runs deep. The actor has fully embraced Spanish culture, finding in it a refreshing alternative to the relentless pace and constant scrutiny of Hollywood life. The couple's 2 sons are growing up immersed in both American and Spanish cultures, a gift that Gere considers invaluable in today's interconnected world. Over his illustrious 5-decade career, Richard Gere established himself as one of Hollywood's most bankable leading men. From his breakout role in American Gigolo, 1980, to iconic performances in An Officer and a Gentleman, 1982, and Pretty Woman, 1990, Gere consistently delivered box office hits that cemented his status as a legendary actor. His versatility shone through in films like Chicago, 2002, where he surprised audiences with his singing and dancing abilities, earning him a Golden Globe Award. Known for his sophisticated taste, Gere has amassed an impressive car collection over the years, including rare vintage automobiles and luxury vehicles. With an estimated net worth of $120 million, his success extends beyond the screen to real estate investments, including properties in New York and Los Angeles. While some of his most memorable films like Primal Fear, 1996, Runaway Bride, 1999, and Arbitrage, 2012, showcased his dramatic range, Gere's selective approach to roles and commitment to quality storytelling has helped maintain his reputation as one of Hollywood's most respected actors. Contrary to rampant speculation about retirement, Gere hasn't completely stepped away from acting. However, he's become increasingly selective about his roles, choosing projects that align with his personal values and humanitarian interests. His recent performances demonstrate that at 75, his ability to portray complex characters remains undiminished. Throughout his decades in Hollywood, Gere has consistently chosen roles that resonated with his beliefs, even when those choices came at a significant professional cost. One of the most significant aspects of Gere's life that he's finally addressing openly is his longtime advocacy for Tibet. His commitment to this cause has had a profound impact on his career trajectory, leading to certain doors in Hollywood closing while opening others aligned with his values. Gere's activism has come with real consequences, including being effectively blacklisted from certain major studio productions due to Chinese market considerations. However, he stands firm in his conviction that some things are more important than commercial success. This principled stance has earned him respect from human rights activists worldwide, even as it limited his Hollywood opportunities. The most touching confirmations come from Gere's revelations about family life. At 75, he's experiencing fatherhood again, with a perspective shaped by decades of life experience. While some might raise eyebrows at the 33-year age gap with his wife Alejandra, their relationship has proven to be one of deep understanding and shared values. Their partnership is strengthened by shared commitments to philanthropy and humanitarian causes, proving that meaningful connections transcend conventional age expectations. In Madrid, Gere and his family have established a life away from the constant glare of Hollywood paparazzi. They've embraced local customs, and Gere has been spotted enjoying simple pleasures like family walks in the park and casual dinners at local restaurants, activities that would have drawn overwhelming attention in Los Angeles. He's embraced a more balanced way of living, combining his longtime Buddhist practices with family time and selective professional engagements. His recovery and subsequent health management have become a proof to resilience at any age. While Gere continues to act, his approach to choosing roles has evolved. He's more interested in projects that tell meaningful stories and align with his values than in commercial success. Gere remains actively involved in humanitarian causes. His advocacy for Tibet continues, as does his support for various human rights initiatives. The actor has found ways to leverage his influence for positive change, even from his new home base in Madrid. What stands out in Gere's recent revelations is how they piece together to form a coherent picture of a life well lived. From his early days as a Hollywood heartthrob to his current role as a family man and activist, Gere's journey reflects a constant evolution toward greater purpose and meaning. His story continues to inspire, not just through his artistic achievements, but through his demonstration that one can remain true to their principles while adapting to life's changes. As he embraces this new chapter in Spain with his family, Gere shows that authenticity and growth know no age limit. At 75, Richard Gere is far from writing the final chapter of his story. Instead, he's showing that life's most meaningful adventures can come at any age. His confirmations about various aspects of his life provide inspiration for those seeking to live more authentically, regardless of age or circumstance. For fans worldwide, these revelations from Gere provide both closure and inspiration. They reveal a man who has chosen to write his own script, both on and off the screen, proving that the most compelling stories are often those that break from convention to follow a more genuine path. In confirming these long-standing rumors, Gere hasn't just cleared the air. He's provided a masterclass in living life on one's own terms. His journey from Hollywood heartthrob to humanitarian, from American movie star to European family man, shows that the most satisfying roles we play are often the ones that stay truest to our hearts.
That's what you go for.
That's how it happens. That's what we do.
That's the Too Fat to Fly experience.
Yeah.
You remember when you was little, you used to eat something good, start dancing?
I want to be on TV. These words, spoken by a young boy with a severe stutter in his 6th grade classroom, would prove prophetic. That boy was Steve Harvey, and his journey from that classroom declaration to becoming one of television's most recognizable faces is just one of the fascinating stories behind The Steve Harvey Show, a beloved sitcom that captured audiences' hearts from 1996 to 2002.
No, because when I did get on the show and brought that character to life, there was a lot of slack from the NAACP and others like that about why do we need these kind of characters.
Recently, actress Terry Vaughn, who portrayed the vivacious Levita Jenkins on the show, broke her silence about what really happened behind the scenes, revealing both the triumphs and tensions that shaped this iconic series. Her revelations offer a compelling glimpse into the complex dynamics that played out when the cameras stopped rolling.
Tie is all crooked. Let me fix it. There. See? Now that's all you needed was a woman's touch.
Well, if you'll excuse me. It's nice meeting you, Elise.
Oh, you too, Katrina.
The show's creation story begins with an unlikely partnership. Winifred Harvey, an accomplished producer known for her work on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, initially had reservations about working with Steve Harvey. Having limited experience with stand-up comedians and aware of Harvey's recently canceled show, Me and the Boys, Harvey was hesitant to take on the project. However, when respected director Stan Lathan, father of actress Sanaa Lathan, became involved, Harvey's perspective shifted. The development process wasn't without its challenges. The creative team initially considered casting Harvey as an English teacher, an idea that was quickly dismissed with the memorable quip, "I don't think you want Steve Harvey to be your English teacher." Instead, after meeting with Harvey and experiencing his unique personality firsthand, they crafted a character that would play to his strengths. Steve Hightower, a former R&B singer turned high school music teacher. The character's backstory was carefully constructed. Hightower was portrayed as a washed-up performer who had once been part of a group called the High Tops, similar to the Temptations. This creative decision allowed the show to incorporate music naturally, while giving Harvey's character a compelling reason for his career transition. The dynamic was further enriched by making the school principal, Regina Greer, played by Wendy Raquel Robinson, someone Hightower had teased in their youth.
Now, you want to be sure that the battery pack is fully charged. This camera has autofocus.
Hightower, I just came from the lunchroom.
While the show presented a harmonious facade on screen, behind the scenes, creative tensions simmered. Steve Harvey found himself at odds with producers over the show's direction. He advocated for addressing serious issues like teen pregnancy and drug abuse, believing that comedy could be an effective vehicle for tackling challenging topics. However, the network preferred to maintain the show's lighter tone, creating a source of ongoing friction. Terry Vaughn's recent revelations have shed new light on the workplace dynamics, particularly regarding Steve Harvey's personality and expectations. According to Vaughn, Harvey's now famous confidence was very much present during the show's run. She described him as always cocky, noting that his current public persona isn't new. It's simply more visible due to his elevated platform. One particularly telling anecdote involved Harvey's expectations regarding the female cast members' appearance during rehearsals. While Vaughn and her colleagues would arrive in comfortable attire suitable for long hours of rehearsal, Harvey would regularly question their casual choices, suggesting they should wear dresses and heels instead. This attitude, while presented humorously, reflected deeper gender dynamics at play within the production. The show's impact on popular culture was significant, but it wasn't without controversy. Critics pointed to several problematic elements, including the portrayal of gender roles and the presence of colorism. The show faced backlash for sometimes reinforcing stereotypes about women and presenting outdated views about gender dynamics. The representation of skin tone differences within the Black community became a particular point of contention. Some viewers noticed and criticized how the show seemed to associate lighter skin tones with greater success and privilege, contributing to ongoing discussions about colorism in media representation. Cedric the Entertainer's character, while beloved by many, also drew criticism for potentially reinforcing stereotypes about Black men. His portrayal as the comedic, sometimes irresponsible friend raised questions about the responsibility of media in presenting diverse and nuanced representations of Black masculinity. The show's run coincided with significant personal changes in Steve Harvey's life. During this period, he navigated complex relationships and marriages, including his divorce from Marcia Harvey and his marriage to Mary Shackelford. These personal challenges added another layer of complexity to the show's production environment. For Terry Vaughn, the role of Levita Jenkins proved to be both a blessing and a challenge. While the character brought her recognition and 3 NAACP Image Awards, it also led to concerns about typecasting. Vaughn has defended her portrayal, explaining that Levita represented real women she knew growing up, making the character authentic criticism about stereotyping. Its controversial elements, The Steve Harvey Show, maintained strong viewership throughout its 6-season run. The series concluded in 2002, with Harvey noting in the Los Angeles Times that he was walking away on my own terms. The show's success in syndication proved its lasting appeal and helped establish Steve Harvey as a household name. The series served as a launching pad for several careers. Steve Harvey went on to become one of television's most prominent personalities, hosting multiple shows and building a media empire.
I'm selling the house.
You're not selling the house.
I am the guardian of her estate. That means I make the decisions.
Come on now, Terry, listen to what they're saying, all right?
Cedric the Entertainer's career flourished in both television and film, while Terry Vaughn continued to work steadily in television, including a notable role in Soul Food. One of the show's unique features was its integration of music, spearheaded by jazz pianist and R&B singer Patrice Rushen as musical director. The fictional group Steve Hightower and the High Tops became a recurring element, featuring performances that added authenticity to Harvey's character's backstory as a former musician. The group included talented performers like T.K. Carter, Ronald Isley, and Jonathan Slocum, creating memorable musical moments throughout the series. The show faced various production challenges, including the integration of real-life events into storylines. When Terry Vaughn became pregnant, the writers incorporated her pregnancy into Levita's character arc, creating a natural progression for the story while accommodating the actress's real-life situation. The cast evolved over the seasons, with new characters being introduced to keep the dynamic fresh. Actresses like Ariane Johnson as Aisha and Lori Beth Denberg as Lydia Gutman joined the ensemble, each bringing their own energy to the show. Even rapper Lady of Rage made recurring appearances as Ketta the Oxcox, despite being in her 30s while playing a teenager. The show's final season, somewhat surprisingly, achieved higher ratings than the previous 2 seasons, a rare achievement for a long-running series. This success made the decision to end the show even more significant, as it wasn't canceled due to poor performance but rather concluded due to creative differences and Harvey's readiness to move on to new projects. Looking back, The Steve Harvey Show represents a significant moment in television history. It provided a platform for talented Black actors and creators, tackled both lighthearted and serious subjects, albeit with some controversy, and helped launch or advance several impressive careers in entertainment. The show's legacy continues to influence contemporary television, particularly in how it demonstrated the potential for stand-up comedians to successfully transition to sitcom leads. Its combination of humor, heart, and occasional social commentary created a template that many shows would later follow. Today, cast members like Terry Vaughn can look back on the experience with both appreciation and critical awareness. Her recent revelations about life on set provide valuable context for understanding both the show's achievements and its limitations. While some aspects of the show may not align with current social standards, its impact on television history and popular culture remains significant. The Steve Harvey Show stands to the evolution of American television comedy, the complexities of representing diverse communities on screen, and the challenging balance between entertainment and social responsibility. As we continue to examine and discuss its legacy, the show's influence on both television history and cultural conversations becomes increasingly clear.
Cheap Trick.
Ooh, not bad.
Yeah.
Opening band?
Not that I know.
band.
I mean, it was kind of a sneak
cool.
out of the house situation, so I don't know that I got there right on time. It wasn't like I had my ticket and, my mom dropped me off. It was not like
Yeah,
that.
it's just like you just ran. You're like, oh my God.
What really happened to America's sweetheart? The megastar who commanded $20 million per film suddenly vanished from our screens. Today, we're talking about the shocking truth about Julia Roberts' mysterious disappearance from Tinseltown and her unexpected return. Julia Roberts is breaking her silence, and the real story behind her Hollywood exit will leave you speechless. Let's rewind to understand just how meteoric Julia Roberts' rise to fame really was. Breaking out in the late 80s with Mystic Pizza, Roberts quickly became Hollywood's golden girl. Her role in Pretty Woman alongside Richard Gere wasn't just a performance. It was a cultural phenomenon that raked in over $460 million at the box office. Studios were throwing scripts at her feet. That dazzling smile was everywhere. Then came the prestigious roles: Steel Magnolias, My Best Friend's Wedding, Notting Hill, The Crown Jewel, her Oscar-winning performance in Erin Brockovich. Roberts wasn't just an actress. She was a force of nature. She shattered the glass ceiling by becoming the first actress to command a $20 million paycheck for a single film. Hollywood was her oyster and she was collecting pearls. But something changed. The appearances became fewer, the roles more sporadic. Red carpet sightings of that million-dollar smile grew rare. Fans were left scratching their heads. Industry insiders whispered, what could make one of Hollywood's biggest stars step away from the spotlight? Now, in a candid interview with the New York Times, Roberts is finally setting the record straight. And the truth? It's both simpler and more complex than anyone imagined. Roberts reveals her characteristic frankness on full display. It wasn't by design, I simply couldn't find something that interested me. This admission sends shockwaves through the industry. The actress who could cherry-pick any role she wanted couldn't find anything worth her time, But there's more to this story, much more. While script quality played a major role, Roberts' priorities had shifted dramatically. After meeting cinematographer Daniel Motter on the set of The Mexican in 2000, love bloomed. Marriage followed in 2002, and soon after, the couple welcomed twins Phineas and Hazel. Their family grew again in 2007 with the arrival of son Henry. I have a sense of great pride in being home with my family and considering myself a homemaker, Roberts explains. This wasn't just lip service, it was a conscious choice to be present for her children's formative years. But here's where it gets interesting. Roberts didn't completely abandon Hollywood. Instead, she became incredibly selective. Remember when she almost turned down August, Osage County, the very film that earned her another Oscar nomination? It was her husband who pushed her to take the role, saying, "At some point you were going to have to leave us to work. Wouldn't you rather roll those dice in a situation like this, where you have a good understanding of what you're going to be doing and the people you're going to be working with?" Roberts' standards remained sky high. Here's the thing, if I'd thought something was good enough, I would have done it, she states matter-of-factly. But finding that perfect project became an increasingly complex equation, she explains. It's not just, oh, I think I want to do this. It's also the math equation of my husband's work schedule and the kids' school schedule and summer vacation. This careful balancing act meant saying no more often than yes. But now, something's changed. Roberts is back in the spotlight with the Starz series Gaslit, where she portrays Martha Mitchell in the Watergate scandal. And the project that truly marks her return to form, Ticket to Paradise, her first romantic comedy in 20 years, reuniting her with frequent co-star George Clooney. Why now? Because the material finally met her exacting standards. It was Notting Hill level of writing or My Best Friend's Wedding level of madcap fun, she explains. But even then, she had one condition. George Clooney had to be her co-star. Looking back, Roberts' disappearance wasn't really a disappearance at all. It was a masterclass in career management and life balance. While other stars burned out or faded away, Roberts simply chose quality over quantity, family over fame. As Julia Roberts returns to the spotlight, she's making it clear that success means playing by her own rules. With her recent hit Ticket to Paradise and upcoming projects like Leave the World Behind alongside Mahershala Ali, Roberts demonstrates that stepping back can actually propel you forward. Her philosophy has remained steadfast through the years. The things that are correct for me will come to me at the time that I am interested in them and have the capacity, the understanding to do them. These aren't just words. They're a blueprint for sustainable success in an industry known for burning through talent. Roberts' journey challenges Hollywood's traditional strike while the iron is hot mentality. While many stars chase every opportunity, fearful of losing momentum, she's proven that true staying power comes from knowing when to say no and when to step back. Her approach shows that prioritizing what truly matters, whether it's family, personal growth, or waiting for the right role, isn't career suicide. Instead, it's a masterclass in longevity. By refusing to let the industry's demands override her personal values, Roberts hasn't just survived in Hollywood, she's redefined what success looks like on her own terms. Her approach has influenced a new generation of actresses who are learning that they don't have to sacrifice personal happiness for professional success. Roberts proved you can have both if you're willing to wait for the right opportunities. So, what's the real truth about Julia Roberts' Hollywood exit? There was no scandal, no feud, no dramatic fall from grace. Instead, we find a story of conscious choices, family priorities, and steadfast standards. Roberts didn't leave Hollywood. She just refused to let Hollywood define her life. And now, as she returns to the spotlight, she's doing it with the same grace, wisdom, and selectivity that marked her temporary retreat. What does the future hold for Julia Roberts? If her past decisions are any indication, we can expect more carefully chosen roles, more quality over quantity, and more of that signature smile, but only when the project is right. As she puts it herself, there's always time for everything in acting. The key is waiting for the right moment, the right role, and the right reason to step back into the spotlight. So there you have it, the real story behind Julia Roberts' Hollywood exodus. No scandal, no drama, just a woman who dared to put family first and maintain her standards in an industry known for compromises. And now that she's back, one thing's for certain. Julia Roberts isn't just making a comeback. She's reminding us why we fell in love with her in the first place. From Pretty Woman to Pretty Wise, Roberts has shown us that sometimes the biggest power move in Hollywood is knowing when to step away. And as she returns to our screens, one thing's crystal clear. America's sweetheart hasn't lost her touch. She's just gotten better at choosing when to share it with the world. The Julia Roberts story isn't just about an actress taking a break from Hollywood. It's about rewriting the rules of success, challenging industry norms, and proving that sometimes the best career move is putting family first. And that's a plot twist worth waiting for.
In the book, you reveal so much, including the secret to making a joke work.
Are you in trouble interviewing me?
Why should I be in trouble?
Because you don't talk about infrastructure, you don't talk about,
This is a vacation for me. This is great.
I said, George, he's in deep water. He's in, but he's married to a comic, so he might understand comedy and love it.
I do love it. This is a question that's probably impossible to.
At 98, Mel Brooks has spent nearly a century making us laugh with classics like Blazing Saddles. But one decision still weighs on him after all these years. What is his biggest regret, and how did it shape his incredible career? Let's uncover the story. The story of Mel Brooks starts in a small Brooklyn apartment in 1926, where he was born Melvin Kaminsky on a kitchen table. His mother, Katie, who already had 3 boys, was hoping for a girl. Instead, she got Mel, who would become one of comedy's greatest legends. Being the youngest of 4 boys meant young Mel got lots of love and attention from his family. He often said he spent his early years being thrown in the air, kissed, and cuddled so much that his feet barely touched the ground until he was 5. But sadness came early when his father, Max, died from kidney tuberculosis when Mel was only 2 years old. This loss left what Mel called a brushstroke of depression that stayed with him throughout his life, influencing how he showed relationships between men in his movies and comedy.
What would you have me do for you?
I shall give you my laws, and you shall take them unto the people.
Yes, Lord! Lord, I shall give these laws unto thy people. Hear me! Oh, hear me! All pay heed! The Lord! The Lord!
Growing up in Brooklyn during the Great Depression wasn't easy, but young Mel found his superpower early, making people laugh. As the shortest kid in his class, he needed a way to protect himself from bullies. He became what he called the undisputed champ of corner shtick, using his quick wit and funny jokes to make friends with bigger kids who would then protect him. His neighborhood was filled with kids playing stickball, going to movies, and hanging out on street corners. While other kids worried about being tough, Mel worked on being funny. Everything changed when his uncle took him to see his first Broadway show, Anything Goes. Hidden on the floor of his uncle's taxi on the way home, because he wasn't supposed to be there, young Mel announced he was going into show business instead of working in the garment center like everyone else in the neighborhood. At age 14, Brooks got his first real taste of show business working as a busboy at a resort in the Borscht Belt, a famous group of hotels where many great comedians started their careers. He worked his way up to becoming what they called a pool tumbler, which meant his job was keeping guests entertained around the swimming pool. He would do crazy things to make people laugh, like putting on a derby hat and coat, carrying heavy suitcases to the diving board and yelling, "Business is no good, I don't want to live," before jumping into the pool. Even though the lifeguard had to keep fishing him out, Brooks loved making people laugh so much that he didn't care about getting soaked. This love of physical comedy and willingness to do anything for a laugh would become one of his trademarks throughout his career.
Remember, thou art mortal.
Oh, blow it out your ass.
Oh, Caesar. I have brought your illustrious name before the 4 corners of the earth. I've subdued and conquered the barbaric hordes in the name of Rome. I penetrated into the farthest...
What's under the sheet?
Sheet? Sheet! Sheet!
World War II changed everything for Brooks and his brothers, who all served in the military. Even though Brooks didn't like war, he felt he had to fight against Hitler and the Nazis. Ironically, while fighting against anti-Semitism, he faced it from some of his fellow soldiers. But Brooks found ways to use comedy even in war. Once, hearing German soldiers singing badly across a river, he grabbed a bullhorn and sang Al Jolson songs back at them. He swears he heard applause from the German side afterward. After the war, Brooks started writing for television, including Sid Caesar's Your Show of Shows. This period was exciting, but also really hard on him. He had such bad anxiety attacks that he would sometimes have to run through the streets of Manhattan or throw up between parked cars to deal with his nerves. Brooks's personal life was just as colorful as his career. His first marriage to Florence Baum gave him 3 children, but ended in divorce because he was, in his own words, probably hell to live with. Then in 1961, he met actress Anne Bancroft and fell madly in love. Their romance started when he saw her rehearsing for a TV show and shouted, "Anne Bancroft, I love you." She shouted back, "Who the hell are you?" in a ceremony where Brooks forgot the ring, so Bancroft used her earring instead. They both tried not to look at each other during the ceremony because the justice of the peace had such a funny voice that they were afraid they'd burst out laughing. Their marriage lasted until Bancroft died in 2005, and she was his biggest supporter through all his successes and failures. But wait, there is more. The 1970s saw Brooks become the king of comedy movies, but getting there wasn't easy. When he made The Producers, a movie about two guys trying to make money from a musical about Hitler, many people thought he had gone too far. Jewish organizations and rabbis sent him angry letters, but Brooks believed that making fun of Hitler was the best way to fight back against evil. He said you can't argue with bad guys on a soapbox, but you can make people laugh at them. His next movie, The 12 Chairs, was so hard to make in Yugoslavia that his hair turned gray during filming. He got so mad once that he threw his director's chair into the ocean, which caused all the workers to go on strike because, in communist Yugoslavia, the chair was considered public property.
But I love an engine underneath the comedy that says something. And this one says something about racial prejudice. And I got Richard Pryor immediately. Richard was the best stand-up comic that ever lived.
But then Richard couldn't do Blazing Saddles.
Are we awake?
We're not sure. Are we black?
Yes, we are.
Then we're awake. But we're very puzzled.
He was arrested once for drugs, and then we couldn't get insurance, and I said, Richard, I'm not doing Blazing Saddles. I love you too much, and this is too big an insult. He said, no, we'll find a black sheriff.
Brooks' biggest hits came with movies like Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein. He loved pushing boundaries and breaking rules about what you could show in movies. When studio bosses told him to take things out of Blazing Saddles, like the famous bean-eating scene or a scene where someone punches a horse, Brooks just ignored them. He bought handkerchiefs for everyone on the Young Frankenstein set because people kept ruining takes by laughing too hard. While he could be tough to work with, some actors even needed to see their therapists after working with him. He was loyal to his favorite actors and crew members, using them again and again in different movies.
Protectorate visionaries eventually planned a totally altered Earth and even an altered solar system. Why not genetically alter humans to function perfectly in a perfectly restructured world?
Money problems hit Brooks hard in the 1980s when he produced a movie called Solar Babies. The budget grew from $5 million to $23 million. And Brooks had to mortgage his house to pay for it. When the movie made less than $1 million, he was so upset he talked about jumping off the Empire State Building. But he bounced back with hits like Spaceballs and by producing serious movies like The Elephant Man. Through it all, his wife Anne Bancroft supported him. She once said her heart would beat faster just hearing his key in the lock at night because she was so happy he was coming home. One of the most important people in Brooks' life was his best friend, Carl Reiner. They met while working on Your Show of Shows and created the famous 2,000-year-old man comedy routine together. Their friendship lasted 70 years, and in their later years, they watched Jeopardy together every night. Even during the COVID pandemic in 2020, when they couldn't see each other, they would watch the same shows while talking on the phone. Reiner died in 2020 at age 98, and Brooks said he never had a better friend. Today, Mel Brooks is one of the few people to win an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony Award. He wrote his autobiography in 2021, still makes TV shows, and got another Oscar in 2024. When people ask if he regrets any jokes he made, he says his only regrets are the jokes he didn't tell because he thought they might be too much. Even in his 90s, Brooks keeps working and making people laugh. He says there's nothing better in the world than saying something funny and hearing an audience explode with laughter. For him, making people laugh is pure magic, and he never wants to stop. Which one is your favorite Brooks movie? Share your thought in the comments section and subscribe for more updates.
By the way, I loved your speech last year when you got this award.
I loved yours too, Michael.
Did you? I didn't make one, Sean. I wasn't here. I was working. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this opportunity
At 91, Michael Caine finally reveals the untold truth about Sean Connery. The struggles, the triumphs, and the bond that shaped a Hollywood icon. This is the story you've never heard about the man behind James Bond.
My name is Bond, James Bond. My instructions were implicit. I was to leave for Jamaica in 2 hours. License to kill.
The year was 1962. Cinema was about to change forever, though nobody knew it yet. When Sean Connery first stepped onto the screen in Doctor No, wearing that impeccably tailored tuxedo and delivering the now immortal line, Bond, James Bond, he didn't just introduce himself. He launched a cultural phenomenon that would define sophisticated masculinity for generations to come.